I used to work for a McDonald's in Tijuana, Mexico during the mid-2000s as a part-time job as I tried to earn some extra income to pay off some loans. Working at McDonald's isn't really anything special, and after roughly a year and a half, I quit for better employment. Now, the reason why I want to mention my time with McDonald's is because there was one evening that forever has fueled my nightmares, even to this day. Occasionally, I'll have those what-if sort of dreams, where I get the bad ending of my experience, and I wake up out of my sleep, sweating and heart racing. I hate when that happens, but I do like to talk about it sometimes because, in a way, it helps me realize that I did nothing wrong, and I was very brave for handling things the way I did. So, enough anticipation. There I was. It was about 11 p.m., and it's myself at the cash register, 2 cooks in the back, and some patrons enjoying their late-night hamburgers and french fries at one of the tables in the back. As I looked up at the TV above me, I believe it was the local news or something, I ended up hearing the front door open. It did take me a second to move my head toward the individual that entered, but when I saw them, I sort of did a double take. Here's this guy with a motorcycle helmet on, his face being covered by the tinted visor, wearing the complete and typical motorcycle's outfit alongside a heavy-set jacket. Bear in mind, this was during the summertime, and even at that hour, it was still pretty humid and in the upper 70s, from my best memory. This would put it at about 80-something. Anyways, that's not really important, other than the fact I did find him wearing such heavy clothing a bit off. The man approached the register, and then without even saying a single word, reaches into his pocket and hands me a little white piece of paper. Maybe he had a really big order, so he wrote it down to make things easier on him. Surely, he wasn't going to give me his phone number, right? Well, with these little questions and scenarios running through my mind, and him just standing there silently, like some sort of statue, I open the note, and I start reading. Suddenly, I feel my blood run cold, and I get goosebumps across my body as the words gun and kill stand out to me. This guy was looking to rob the McDonald's, but as per his note, he said that as long as I handed over the money peacefully and without a fight, he would be on his way, and no harm would come to anyone at all. At this point, I decided to do something a bit dumb. I looked at him, and I jokingly said, "Yeah, and next you're going to tell me I'm going to grow wings and fly away." Or something stupid like that. This seemed to only agitate him, and what he does next sends my anxiety levels over the limit. He brandishes a pistol that's on the inside pocket of his jacket. That was enough for me to drop the note and stop laughing, and now I start to put money into a plastic bag. Those moments felt like they went on forever, and I feared that one of the cooks in the back was going to say something and potentially get him, or I, shot. Well, what do you know? One of them does see me start to place money into a bag, and the man wearing the helmet tells him to be quiet. Of course, the cook, being the stubborn older man he was, tells me to stop with the money withdrawal, and this angers the robber. Now, instead of just flashing the gun, he takes it out full force and points it in the direction of the cook. Literal chills are taking over as I fear this was it. This was the end. I also saw at this moment as the two who had been eating their food in the back took off running out of the McDonald's, which caught the attention of the robber. I don't think he had noticed them at first, but one thing that seemed to have been going through his head was that his chances of making it out without more witnesses seeing what he was doing and cops arriving to arrest him was growing very slim. In what was a complete 180, the man suddenly takes off, running out of the McDonald's, and runs into the parking lot, disappearing behind a large wall. You bet we were super frightened and paranoid at this point as we lock ourselves in a back room and then call for the police. They arrived in about 5 minutes, and they started to do a complete scan of the local area. Unfortunately, they never caught the guy, and even with the security footage we showed them, there wasn't much they could go on, since his face and entire body was fully covered and disguised. Ultimately, I had to take a week off from work after that incident because I was so traumatized and scared from what I'd just been put through. I genuinely believed that that man was going to shoot my coworker had he not complied and backed away, and I also believed that he wasn't afraid to then go after me and everybody else had we spoken even a word. Truly, one of the most frightening experiences of my life that I hope none of you out there listening ever have to go through. This was 2013. The McDonald's I used to work at definitely saw quite an interesting cast of characters, if you really want to call it that. And no, I'm not referring and talking about Ronald McDonald and the other characters. I'm talking about the customers themselves. Sure, you would get plenty of Karens and Kevins, but then you got those really weird people, the ones who would just stare at you, catcall you, and then get angry anytime you call them out on it. Or what about those customers that would get angry because they were waiting for so long, even though the place was jam-packed during rush hour? Ugh, but I guess that's every job where they feel like you owe them the world. But maybe I'd rather save those stories of dealing with rude customers for another day. Let me instead tell you about this one in particular. I was working the window in the evening, and we were now starting to wind down from the evening rush we'd received just an hour prior. My manager was doing her rounds checking up on all of us, and when she got to me, my back was turned toward the window by the way, I heard a knock and see my manager's facial expression change. I looked back in the direction she was looking, toward the window. I heard a knock and I see my manager's facial expression change. I looked back at the direction she was looking, and there's a homeless lady, the one that I've dealt with plenty of times before in the past when she would harass me for no reason whatsoever, and she was flailing her arms around, acting like she was high off of some drugs. My manager from the windows says that she'll take care of this, and when she opens the window to see what's up with her, she curses at her and then says that she wanted to talk to me. Okay, well, this is quite bizarre. Again, there was nobody else in the drive-thrus, so I just put my best customer service face on, sucked it up, and said, "Hi ma'am, if you want to order something, could you come inside and do it there? This is supposed to be for vehicles only." Oh, you should have seen her. She got so angry with me she started to bang her arms against the glass, calling me vulgar names, and then going as far as saying that she wanted to take a metal rod and stick it, well, down there. Anyway, it's just words she's saying, and my manager is asking if I want to take a break, but I said I'm good, it's whatever. She walked away as one of the cashiers said that she needed help with a customer, and when she saw and heard the yelling, she cringed and she whispered, "Yeah, good luck with that," in a joking fashion. Thanks, I guess. Well, finally, I did see a car pulling up to the menu outside, so I focused my attention to the vehicle and I saw the lady walked away. Well, at least whatever hatred she had toward me in that moment had dwindled away. But don't forget about her just yet, because we fast forward to the end of my shift. I was now tired, I smelled like French fries and oil, and I just wanted to get into my apartment, step into the tub and let the warm water and soap wash away the stress of the day. Well, after I bid my co-workers a good evening, and I start making my way through the parking lot, having my keys in my hand, I heard yelling to my right. It was like something straight out of a horror movie, because that lady from earlier comes out from behind one of the large bushes, and she's got this rusty old crowbar. "I'm going to kill you," she said in a sing-songy type voice. Now my body went cold and shivers go down my spine as the look across her face said it all. Why was she targeting me? Sure, she gave me issues before in the past, but this was the first time she was acting so violently toward me. Now she's coming after me with a crowbar. I did what any normal human being would do in this situation. Since I was already so close to my vehicle, I quickly jumped inside as she proceeds to smash said crowbar against the side of my door, causing a huge dent to form. I'm now desperately fumbling around with my keys, scared out of my mind and my wits, trying to put the keys into the ignition, and then she smashes the glass window on the back seat behind where I sat. I basically floored it out of there, immediately deciding I'm going to the police station to report that I was being attacked. Luckily, there were already some police officers standing outside drinking some coffee when they saw me running up to them, and I had this look of pure horror on my face. They then drove over to the McDonald's as I sat there crying and shaking as a female police officer comforted me. Long story short, the police would catch up with the woman, and finally they did actually arrest her, since other times they just let her go as she actually hadn't caused anyone any harm. The crazy lady was actually inside the McDonald's ranting about me when they got there. She was saying how I had gotten away, which my co-workers had relayed to me. Again, I don't know what kind of issue she had with me. I was always very professional, albeit sometimes scared with what she would say to me. I ended up resigning from that McDonald's a month later, and I started working at a Costco in the deli section, where I'm still at today. So much nicer here, as the area is a lot less sketchy, and people are actually really nice to me. So anyway, that's my scary story of the time that I had to deal with a crazy lady who wanted me dead.